I will look at Luka's performance losing in the finals. How do I look at any other player who's lost in the finals?
If you've always felt that way, say what you need to say when you should have been saying it. Every time somebody criticizes free throw shooting, he has gotten better this season. So I can't say
59% from the line is so far.
I said I ain't got nothing for free throws.
I have nothing for free throws. Everything else though, you said, B-Souls, a high turnover game, a game where he goes like 1 for 7, fourth quarter scoring where he usually gets tired. It sounds like Luka. And I'm not doing this to give too much like cape for Luka Doncic for real, because they're losing. They are losing. I know this is a results-driven business. It is what it is. But when I see stuff where people are talking about how he is as a player in this manner, it pisses me off. And I want to point this to Brian Windhorst right now.
Luka fell onto the ground there in an unacceptable position to put himself in with 4 minutes left with 5 fouls, and then immediately looks at the bench and says, "You better bleeping challenge it," as if it's the bench's fault that he just made a terrible play. I'm standing here in the Mavericks tunnel. Over there is the Celtics tunnel. That's where the winners are. If Luka's ever going to be a winner coming out of this tunnel here, he is going to have to use what's happened in this finals as a learning experience. His defensive performance is unacceptable. He is a hole on the court. The Celtics are attacking him. They are ahead in this series because they have attacked him defensively. And you've got a situation here where Luka is complaining about the officiating. They have begged him. They have talked with him. They have pleaded with him. He is costing his team because of how he treats the officials. He's a brilliant player. He does so many things well. They are here because of how he did. His performance in this game is unacceptable, and the reason why the Mavericks are not going to win. He's got to get over this. And the fact that he came out after the game and blamed the officials showed me he's nowhere close yet. So maybe over the summer, somebody will get to him because nobody with the Mavericks or anybody else in his life has. And that's where the Mavericks are at this point. They're never going to get to this tunnel with the trophy if he doesn't improve those aspects of his game.
And I know people are going to say like, oh, factually what he said is true. That's cool. My problem is 2 things. One, who are you to say he'll never be a winner? This is why he's a loser, et cetera, when you can't get off of LeBron's coattails. Like the reason why you're here is because of another grown man, right? You're a coattail rider, Brian Windhorst. And then 2, nothing he said is like some surprise to people that have been watching Luka. What has the knock been? What has the thing been? We just pulled it up. The drive percentage stats have been here for this entire playoffs. Yeah. It's always been about the defense, right? This time it's what 3 percentage points higher or whatever the case may be. But he's been getting blown by all year. Okay, cool. He's been whining about calls all year. Okay, cool. You're only doing this now because it's a results-based thing, I guess. But that's lame as fuck to me. If you've always felt that way, don't wait to be vindicated by the results. Say what you need to say when you should have been saying it. Hey, Luka's a chronic complainer, and the defense is bad or whatever the case may be. I've been saying it all day. If the results were flipped, if the Celtics were down 3-0 and the Mavs were up 3-0, would Brian Windhorst be coming out saying this?
Nope.
No. He would shut the fuck up, gawk off Tatum or something like that, saying he's not performing. Text LeBron, I miss you, King, and pick up more Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, man, not again.
Like, I dead ass hate when people do that shit. If you feel that way, feel that way. You should have been feeling that way.
And that all that does is spiral the either A, he's never said that crowd, or I never said that thing, which I said on a recent Golden State video. That's becoming like a top 5 pet peeve of mine. This everything is so result oriented that when something finally happens, we either backpedal the fuck and act like there wasn't a narrative prior to that just got disproved, or we act like something that we just learned about is now something that everyone's been saying all along. And it's kind of corny to me. I'm just casually, because I know I brought his name up when I'm talking about it, because I'm still on this point, and I just think it's not bad, but definitely a dishonest and or lazy argument. So I just pulled up the 3 times in LeBron's career, 2018, 2015, and 2007, where people visually feel like, bro, there was nothing more that nigga could do while losing. In 2007, I think we all agree, if Luka didn't outplay 2007 LeBron in the finals to you, I don't know. 22 points, 7 and 7 on 35, 20, 69 splits. I think it's fair to say that he was better than 2007 LeBron James. In 2015, again, nobody's discrediting LeBron when I'm doing this, by the way. LeBron James, 35 points, 8 assists, 13 rebounds on 39-31. Now, would you, myself, or anybody on this podcast sit here and be like, oh, yeah, LeBron was ass because he didn't even shoot 40% from the field? Hell no. Like, hell no. LeBron in 2015 was a fantastic fucking player. LeBron in 2018. Now, this one is cause to pause, but let's add further context after I read the numbers. 34 points, 10 assists, 8.5 rebounds on 52-33. That sounds amazing. Fair enough. And maybe this Mavs series needs to finish because LeBron in game 1 lit it up with 51 on amazing efficiency. We don't have that for Luka. So without that 51 bomb, and if he don't get it, then I guess 2018 LeBron clears. But at this moment in time, LeBron has 28, 10, and 9 on 49, 27 from 3. Again, I don't think these are numbers that are dwarfing performances of what Luka's going on. So when I keep asking, what is this great play that Luka needs to do to where, okay, I'm not going to act obtuse anymore and act like Kyrie is underperforming, that PJ just randomly forgot how to A, get open in the corner, or B, knock down the shots when he finally gets them in the corner, let alone C, he's just not giving you anything above 20 points anymore. Derek Lively just randomly missed a couple of dunks that pissed me off. But for the most part, Derek Lively's been pretty cool. Daniel Gafford's been pretty meh. Josh Green, Tim Hardaway, they're playing basketball. There's so many things that's like, are we dead ass right now? We talking about Luka Doncic, the guy that he got us to the finals, and now is look at Luka, it's finally his world, and now he's the bane of the Mavericks. It's just so weird to me, bro. It's just
do you feel like the discourse has gotten to a point where it's just all blaming Luka?
I think so. That's what's headlining right now.
Yeah, I'm watching the morning shows, B-Souls.
That's what's headlining.
Yes. To be honest with you, yes.
I guess.
People have not mentioned Kyrie ever since he dropped 35. I have not heard one person say, let's not forget Kyrie has dropped Kyrie's bad in game 1 and 2 outside of myself. And maybe I just need to watch more shows, but I ain't heard it.
Guys, the NBA playoffs are heating up, and I am excited to bring to you Prize Picks, the best way to play daily fantasy sports. All you're going to do is download the app, go to the website, and then you're going to select your players and make some picks. I'm going to go Evan Mobley, more on points, easy one. And I'm going to go Devin Booker, less on his PRA. I'm going to put some money in, $1 million. I'm going to go ahead and hit place entry.
And if you use code LKIB, Prize Picks will match up to 100% on your first deposit up to $100.
Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode.
Not even that. I mean, it's just recency bias. We're talking about a series. Everybody's going to talk about the latest game at the time. And in this series, again, I'm with Bezos. Luka's played good, especially the Luka standards. I don't know anyone that thought if the Mavericks were going to win a championship. Granted, everyone knows the context of no one else is showing up. But if you had Luka winning the finals, giving you a typical Luka night, just playing like normal Luka, okay, we weren't on the same page. I thought in order for them to win, Luka would have had to have been more than Luka. That was my turn. That was my train of thought. But I said the same thing for the Celtics outside of if defensively they just fucking shit up. And there was a third option. Everyone just hits threes because the Mavericks defense as a whole is awful. It's not just Luka. I will give it to people. It's not just Luka's defense. The entire Mavericks defense is horrible. That zone they're running, which we're using to goose up these drive-by numbers. I don't know if y'all know how to run a zone, but if if you're playing on top of a zone, the purpose is to drive the man to your teammate behind you, to the help, to the protection. You drive them there, you come back up and cover your zone. The Mavericks are clearly running a zone. Now, yes, there have been sequences, there have been moments where Luka has just been awful on defense in a man-to-man situation, in a transitional situation, playing his own. Everyone knows that. But to make it seem like, oh my God, Luka's defense in general is just awful, and we're not going to talk about Daniel Gafford's defense looking awful, Derek Lively's defense looking awful. Derek Lively looks awful as a player right now. He does not look like the Derek Lively anyone thought he was going to be. Why? Because he's a rookie. And hey, so as I said it before, I say it again. Goddamn, age might matter. Like maybe I was wrong. Age might matter. Like your experience. Yeah. Hey, experience might matter. 40-year-old Al Horford is getting the job done. Experience fucking matters. I was wrong, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm not going to act like I'm watching 2018 LeBron. I'm not gonna act like I'm watching 2015 LeBron. I'm not gonna act like I'm watching any version of LeBron because this is not that. Because LeBron gave you defense, and that is the biggest difference between these performances and losing effort.
That's a fair argument for defense.
Is the defensive matchup between the two. So I won't look at it as that, but I will look at Luka's performance losing in the finals. How I look at any other player who's lost in the finals, any number one who's lost in the finals. That goes for Jimmy Butler. That goes for fucking Jason Tatum. That goes for Jimmy Butler. That goes for Devin Booker. No, Devin Booker, then Jimmy Butler. I'm sorry. That goes for all those niggas. Everyone has things. It's been questions about all those guys, and those conversations are fair. If you're losing, you're not doing more than you normally do. We're gonna have that conversation.
Real quick before you go, Sage, I do want to give Charles Barkley credit. He has listed the others as reasons as to why they're losing or whatever the case may be. But every Stephen A, he wet the bed. Brian Windhorst, that weak ass monologue. Just everybody else has been, for the most part, saying that it's a flip. It's been Luka.
I get where y'all are coming from, but I also don't like this counter push, I guess, of just because he doesn't have help and his help isn't showing up, that now we can't just point out the criticisms in Luka's game. Like, oh my God, he has to drop 50 every night. Like, this is just a situation. Like, no, in this situation, I can still call him out for his free throws. I am expecting more than 32% from three from Luka. I'm expecting him once again to abuse these mismatches more. And I'm expecting him to be better in the clutch for what I think Luka is. And I think that's not even on some he got to go crazy shit. Just a regular Luka game. This guy that's arguably the best in the world, top 3, whatever. Yeah, no, I'm expecting that from Luka. I'm sorry if that's too high of a standard now.
I think what's ironic of this conversation is we've only scaled this standard of like W loser to like 3 of the strongest LeBron seasons of being a W loser of all time. And maybe me and Dama would just have a separate debate about this. And 2 of them are just objectively, he's right there. One of them, he's just beyond better. I don't think, yes, in 2015, he was a better defender for sure. But I also think in 2015 that the Cleveland Cavaliers at least had better schematics and definitely better defense than this Dallas Mavericks team. This Dallas Mavericks team is just, I don't want to say bad coaching because that's OD. They made it there for a reason. Jason Kidd wasn't awful this entire postseason, but Jason Kidd is getting fucked by Joe Mazzulla. I think we all agree on that. I also think that in 2018, LeBron's defense wasn't necessarily bad either. It's still significantly better than Luka Doncic, but it wasn't exactly the cream de la crop, whatever the term is. And also, yet again, series ain't over. If Luka does have that 50 bomb, quite literally, it's a 1-to-1 to what LeBron did in 2015. Like, damn near down the line outside of, I think, APG. And if we're talking about APG, that's strictly because we're seeing how in game 1 niggas are missing shots. We're deliberately seeing these things. So I'm not saying Luka is, I'm not trying to be a somewhat hypocrite and saying Luka's absolved of game 3. He's not absolved of defense. He's not absolved of shooting bad from the free throw line, which that I'm being dead ass. I'll dumb it down again. I have nothing for this nigga just missing free throws. But at the end of the day, I think it's very weird that the trend, headline, thumbnail, and all the attention about why the Dallas Mavericks are losing this series is going directly to Luka and not anybody else, really. I think that's weird, and I will die about that.
The only thing I'll say to wrap up this is, and that's why I said what I said about Brian Windhorst last night in a tweet, and the night before. You'll see this 2 nights, the night of the game in a tweet. And then I followed it up this morning. I truly just think it's weird the way we flip on players because we do it quite often. If Luka was doing this and they're running off all these wins, et cetera, let's say they ended up being a 60-win team in the regular season, but he's still complaining and it's still defense. They would make the argument. The media would make the argument for us about conserving energy for offense. And they would make the argument about how passionate he is and how the officials aren't officiating correctly, kind of like Shaq or LeBron or something like that. When going through the finals or whatever the case may be, he's still winning. He wins the whole finals. He would be a passionate player. He would be conserving himself because of how great of an offensive player he is, et cetera, et cetera. If you flip that with a loss in the finals, all of a sudden it goes from passionate player, you know, he cares about winning, he's getting officiated differently, blah, to this is what cost him the game. How the fuck did we get here? Literally, how do we get to the finals is what I'm saying.
That's fair.
Because of that same shit. That's what I think is really weird. That's all I'm saying. That's literally all I'm saying.
But we're doing this for no reason. Mavs in 7.